form, verse number 53. Naham vedena tapasa na danena na chejaya shakya evam vidho drashtum drishtva nasi mam yatha naham vedena tapasa nadanena chejaya shakyam evam vidho drashtum drishtvanasi mam yatha naham vedena tapasa nadanena chejaya shakya evam vidho drashtum drishtvanasi mam yatha
ना अहम वेदे ना तपसा ना दानेन चेतया शक्य एवं विदो दृष्टं दृष्ट्वा असीमां यथा
नाहं वेदेन तपसा दानेन न चेतया शक्य एवं विदो द्रष्टुं दृष्टवानसि मां यथा
नाहं वेदेन तपसा दानेन न चेतया शक्य एवं विदो द्रष्टुं दृष्टवानसि मां यथा नाहं वेदेन तपसा दानेन न चेतया शक्य एवं विदो द्रष्टुं दृष्टवानसि मां यथा
Na, never. Aham, I. Vedai, by study of the Vedas. Na, never. Tapasa, by serious penances. Na, never. Danena, by charity. Na, never. Cha, also. HG.Gadadhar, by worship. Shakyaha, it is possible. Evam vidaha, like this. Drashtum, to see. Drishtavan, seeing. Asi, you are. Mam, me. Yatha, as. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, His Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. The form you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. Purport. Krishna first appeared before his parents Devaki and Vasudeva in a four-handed form, and then he transformed himself into the two-handed form. This mystery is very difficult to understand for those who are atheists or who are devoid of devotional service. For scholars who have simply studied Vedic literature by way of grammatical knowledge or mere academic qualifications, Krishna is not possible to understand, nor is he to be understood by persons who officially go to the temple to offer worship. They make their visit, but they cannot understand Krishna as he is. Krishna can be understood only through the path of devotional service, as explained by Krishna himself in the next verse. Om Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So I seek blessings from all of you again. And also my speed of speaking is fast, which last time Mataji told me
It's already fast.
to come down. So I'm fighting with my own nature to get along with all in a team. So okay, Hare Krishna. What happens is modern day education has made a fool out of us. Everything is small time they make us work up many things. So the brain it has a habit of cramming. Hare Krishna. In today's verse, if we see in this chapter, there is a universal form, and Krishna wants to show. Is basically Arjuna is also having doubt. Okay, you are my friend, and we were together. In one sense, we did everything. You guided us. He thought he is normal in the sense, from a conditional point of view. Arjuna is a pure devotee. From Bhagavad Gita's perspective, he's thinking, oh, how can I believe all that you are saying, that you are the supreme personality of Godhead, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava and everything. So generally we also we take devotees very cheaply. Like Prabhupada was a devotee, but he was a pure devotee. Nobody recognized him in India unless he went to West and made even people who didn't know Krishna's devotees. Then everyone in India said, oh yeah, you are surely a great empowered soul. So same way, Krishna thought, even if Arjuna somehow accepts, in the sense, from a Gita's perspective, that I am supreme, people will not accept. They said, hold on, I will show you a universal form. Because people, unless they see something very, very huge, and that's how yes. Even today in India, wherever you go, there is a universal photo. So wherever you go, when they see that, they said, yes, Krishna is God. That is how they accept Krishna as God. When you say that Krishna is a very nice cowherd boy, he herds the cows, and then he plays with cow dung, and he rolls on the mud, the Braj Bhumi. So he cannot be God. So everybody wants to see the Aishwarya part of the Supreme Lord. Although for devotees, the Aishwarya part is in the backdrop. It is there. They know that the Supreme Lord is full of opulences. But their devotional service is so high, their love and service for the Lord is so high, that they get the adhikar to even treat Lord as their son in the 5 rasas that we know. They get authority to love the Lord as their own son or their friend, or what to say, even as their lover. Like we have the history of Mirabai. She wanted Krishna as husband only. So even she got it. But that adhikar comes through devotional service. So here Krishna in this verse is saying, don't think that, like in earlier verse also we saw how he is saying that his universal form is also not that easy to see. And on the top, even if by some tinge of devotional service, one can get a chance to see my universal form. But this Shyam Sundar form is very difficult. And then he is saying, Naham Vede. Many people, even like I stayed 1 year in Varanasi. I did my studies in Vrindavan. I had been for preaching 1 year in Varanasi. There it was really tough to explain, especially scholars. those who are now going to college and living sinful life, they are more better candidates for receiving our Krishna conscious movement. But those who are really educated and they have one word of Sanskrit, they'll break it to 100 parts. And then it is very difficult to explain them. No, this is. They have their own understanding. So Krishna is saying, even when you read the Vedas, it is very difficult to know me. Because somewhere or the other you will get hooked up unless you have some spiritual master who is guiding you in devotional service. Because devotional service is not received by brain. Like even Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that your karma will not lead you to bhakti. Karma can never produce bhakti. The more you do, you may think I will do this and then I'll achieve. Some people even amongst devotees sometimes think that I will become one day rich and then I will become a devotee. Then my dhoti and kurta will be so glad, like an effulgent man. His understanding of being a devotee itself is so low. So people think that when I do some karma, some activity or some kind of yajna, then I will attain the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord will come in front of me. There's something like Karma Mimamsa philosophy. I do so much work that Lord will be forced to give His mercy. But Lord is Swarat. The first verse of Bhagavatam says, first second verse, it says that I am Swarat, He is Swarat. There are two things, endeavor and mercy. We can endeavor, but the mercy still comes from the Supreme Lord. So that is why ours is a begging movement. We beg Krishna for mercy. Oh my dear Lord, whenever we go in front of the Lord, we ask for His mercy. We all are like beggars. But there are people who think, no, well I know, when you go and preach them, they say, oh, we know Krishna. Krishna is this, Sahasra Sirsha, Purusha, Sahasraksha, Sahasravati. I know this Upanishad, I know that Upanishad, I know everything. So I know Krishna. They think understanding Vedas means understanding Krishna in totality. But Krishna spoke Vedas to deliver the fallen souls and attract towards Him. So in Vedas, if someone does not come through the science of devotional service, the Bhakti Yoga, and does not understand it to be superior to all other paths towards the Supreme, then one will get stuck up. One will get stuck up in some of the paths and may not achieve the highest thing, because even like we all are people, you are a person, I am a person, everybody is a person. Even if somebody is very naughty and he comes, he loves you, but in general he is naughty to others. But he has good relation with you. He always thinks of you. If you are stuck up in some problem, you call him, my dear friend, I am in some problem, and he comes and helps you. You love that person. You may forgive his naughty part, the naughty part of his life. You may somehow oversee. Like we have those who are married, they have their sons and daughters. Sometimes they commit something which is not acceptable by society, or which is below social standards. But if they love their father or mother wholeheartedly, then the parents have that compassion. Same way Lord says, what is devotional service? Devotional service is when you come with that one flower of love. Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yomya Bhaktya Prayachati. When you come with love. Not that he brought 20 rupees garland and I brought 100, I bring 100. Lord will be very happy with me. So Lord says not that. You bring whatever you can. If you can afford 100, you put 100. You afford 1 rupee, you put 1 rupee. If you can't afford anything, come with a prayer. Just stand in front of me. If you can't physically come to me, just pray, I am there. I can hear you. The Lord is omniscient. He can hear you everywhere. We don't have to, yes, if we can come to temple, we should come to temple. So Lord is very merciful. The science of devotional service is science of heart. Is putting a heart in loving the Lord. As in that verse 10.8, 9 I think. So Madchita Madgata Prana. Where Krishna says, where Prabhupada writes in the purport, just like the lovers, they come and talk about each other. Same way, when we go to the Lord, we glorify the Lord. When we meet people who are not in the practicing, or those who are not interested in the Lord, we try to get them to the lotus feet of the Lord. Then we speak about the Lord. When even Bhaktivedanta Thakur said, once it is in one of the books it is written, he says that you should keep preaching, because preaching is also a sign of love. If you preach people, if they are not there, preach animals. If you don't find them, preach the walls, but preach. Don't stop preaching, because preaching is nothing but speaking about the Supreme Lord. And then we have the 64 angas of devotional service that we do, dance in front of the Lord. I tell you, even dancing is a great science. It takes to crush our ego, and to accept that I am a servant of the Lord. I dance in front of the Lord. Like whenever we pull some people in dancing, they're so, a sign of sinful person is that he can't glorify the Lord. He feels hesitant. It is only when the devotee pulls him in the circle of devotional service, or in this case dancing, somehow it is very heavy, It is just 2 kg hand, one can pull, but there is a resistance inside. It is only when he comes in contact with the devotee and he just compassionately catches him. And as it is said, when you come in contact with devotees and devotional service and some object of devotional service, your sins are reduced. So many glories are there in Vedas. Where, if you do this, if you smell incense, all your reactions are gone. If you see worshipping the Lord, if you dance in front of the Lord, all these things, your sinful reactions are gone. And we will see, when we catch, initially there is a resistance. And then slowly like, yeah, and then, hey, Haribol. He raises his hand. Why? Because now he is freed from all his sins. The baggage of sin is almost reduced. Now he can dance. So it is devotees who give them the chance, to bring them closer to Krishna. And this is what Krishna likes. When Krishna says at the end that those who preach, preaching does not only mean speaking and speaking. Actual preaching starts off the Vyasasana. When you go and meet people and get them to the lotus feet of Krishna through various means, make them chant holy names, take them to yatras, explain them science of Krishna, engage them in like building temple or engage their economy. Economy also involves their heart. They will somehow come and at least complain to you that okay, where is my money? How is it used? So you can engage everybody. So Krishna here is saying that not by cramming Vedas. There are people. We go to villages and preach. There are small children who know all 700 shlokas by heart. There was one small child. He came to me. He said, "Sir, I said what?" He said, "I know all 700 shlokas." Ulta means from here to this side, I said, look, I honestly told him, what I only know is that I have to preach this, and Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and I have to chant holy names in Kali Yuga. So no, that I don't know, but I know all 700 shlokas upside down. You tell me this, you tell me the verse number, and I tell you shloka. So cramming this is like a parrot. In Padma Purana, there is a story where a Brahmana became a parrot in his next life. Reason being, he knew Vedas in and out. He knew the meters of shlokas. Sometimes we have this 5th canto, the biggest, the lengthy verses. They are not like verses, they are like prose kind of thing. They are like big verses. And yes, some people can easily chant it. And with all the parameters. But they don't know that what is the essence of that verse. So there are people in Vedic society, especially in India, this problem is there, where people think that I know Vedas perfectly. But they don't know who is supposed to be understood. That is 15:15, where Krishna says that I am to be known through the Vedas. It is me who is to be known through the Vedas. But through the Vedas, they are trying to understand this material world. They are trying to understand cosmos. They are trying to understand human relations. Nowadays they are writing Bhagavad Gita for management. How our managers can understand Gita and live a life. But they don't want to understand Krishna, because understanding Krishna involves giving up envy. The root cause of every living entity existing in this world is to enjoy independent of Krishna. So Krishna says, Ishopanishad, that it is mentioned, Sambhutim cha vinasham cha. We should know both. We should know the Supreme Lord, His pastimes, His holy name, His form, and we should also know this material world's cruel nature. When you know these two things, then you can easily make your path back to God. But the people who study Vedas, they only know at maximum they reach to the Vinasha part. How the material nature and the time calculations and everything they understand. Oh, this world is very deadly. And they land up becoming Mayavadis. The problem is when they don't know the sweetness of Krishna's pastimes, which unfortunately they don't serve the Vaishnavas, they will never come to know. Even Sarvam Bhattacharya was a dry speculator in one sense, till he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tricked him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sat and debated about bhakti. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that when he will serve me, he will get that adhikar to understand. So actually, devotees are very intelligent. If you want to make, we do this very trick to make somebody devotee. We give him some service. We can do it. But if person says, no, I'm on the way, can you give some prasad, can you tell your parents to cook something, without doing that, I can offer it to Krishna as I taught you. He says, yes, you are passing through my station, And he goes and cooks, tells his mother. Mother says, who is coming? He says, my teacher is coming, I have to give something. And then he becomes a devotee, his parents become devotee, and gradually that is how they become devotee. So even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tricked a Vedantist, Sarvam Bhattacharya, who was a dry speculator Mayavadi, saying that, we become God at the end of life, when you attain Brahman. So people end up seeing only the Vinasha part, they'll end up becoming Mayavadis. Because Mayavadis are those who are totally frustrated with material life. So they want to go away from material life, although being embodied within matter. Although they exist within matter, they don't know how to deal with this matter. So then they turn up becoming Mayavadi or becoming monist, keeping quiet and meditating. At least if they meditate on Brahman, it is good. But sometimes, unfortunately, people meditate on silence. I don't know how they meditate, but they say we should meditate on silence. Hear the silence within you. How can you hear if it is silence? So, the people unfortunately become Mayavadis. And then Krishna is saying, what to talk of people like this? Even tapasa, people who take to the form of austerities. Nowadays, many Westerners especially, they try to come to Rishikesh or they go to Himalayas. They think unless you do something like this, and look at the sunrise, you get a feeling that you are doing tapasya. Actual tapasya is really very difficult. Real tapasya is what Hiranyakashipu and Ravana did to attain their own goals. So Krishna is saying, even if you do tapasya, you can't actually achieve me. Reason being, your tapasya will make you more hard-hearted. Whenever we think that we are the doer, we are already entrapped by Maya. And when we think that by my tapasya, it is me who stood on one leg for 60,000 years. And the tip of my nose I was concentrating like this. And it is me. Then when there is me or I, Krishna says that then I can't come to you. When you say, Krishna, I am yours, and then you say, yes, then I am yours. But then you say, it's me, then Krishna, then I am me. If you are you, then I am I. So, when we bring our I in any of the forms of trying to come near to the power, what is tapasya? People want to do tapasya actually to gain power. Even in Western world there is a man named David Blaine. I don't know if you have heard his name. He walks on water. He lifts himself above air. He can remove anything from your pocket and get it here. But some people asked him, then why don't you try to advertise yourself as a great hero? He said, the moment I will do that, even these powers will go away. The nature of even these powers, external material powers, is such that if you glorify yourself, it goes away. Then what to talk of devotional service? A devotee should be so careful, of not showing off his devotional service, rather performing it and seeking the mercy of the Lord. It is an internal process, external activity and internal process, a double way going on. So he said, then Krishna is saying here, na tapasa, not by Vedas, not by tapasya can you understand him. Then not only that, he is saying na dani. That even when somebody, there are rich people, they are very fond of giving, they'll get on the train especially. They'll go to Haridwar, once they take bath in the Ganga, they are free of their sins, that is what they know. And then they come out, they'll not look at sadhus. Sadhus means, the market value of sadhus have gone down due to, a lot of wrong happenings in society. So, no sadhus, and then they will go and some poor people, some poor, their noses are running, and then they give some clothes and some donation, and then they will go and they themselves start feeling that, look, what a charity I gave. They'll go home and tell that out of all my earnings, 20% of my money I spent in, But Krishna is not interested. Krishna is saying, what you did with your earlier thing, what about that? You did only bhoga. You broke all four regulative principles just to satisfy your senses. And now that at least you have got some intelligence to go and do some charity. Krishna appreciates charity. So, so Krishna is saying, even when you do charity, it is not the method that you can come to me or you can see me. It is not guaranteed. Not guaranteed, you cannot see only unless devotional service is there. So Prabhupada writes, some of the purports are read, that when you give charity, you give it to people who are preaching. If you have a tendency to give charity, you give charity. You give to people who are preaching the message of Supreme Lord. Those who are having harinams, you give them. Those who are distributing prasad, you give them. Those who are worshipping the Lord in the temples, you give them. So when you give them, then your charity is somewhat of some value. And then Krishna notices, yes, you gave it. So here Krishna is saying that na Vaidev, na Tapasa, na Dan. Why these three words are there? Because, and Ijaya, we'll come to Ijaya later. But these three things are very prominent methods in society where people try, and all 99% of population is almost thinking like this. Their mind bent is like this. Even I have seen some devotees, when they come to temple, we make them devotees. So somehow they get into a kind of inferiority complex. Oh, I am a poor devotee. Some people who are poor, they think they are poor. And some think, oh, I am very rich. Probably I can make it to the temple management. It is, I want to speak to nothing to do with anything. But people think, oh, I got, so I can be very close to the management. And probably I can influence the decision of the management. Obviously, devotee manager should be very intelligent to follow the previous acharyas and not get into this capitalist and communist fight. Prabhupada writes, a Krishna conscious devotee can actually solve the capitalist and communist fights. He writes in Isha very clearly. And it is only a devotee who follows the acharyas, anupashyati, who see the world in the vision of their acharyas, can actually make the right decisions. And those who are poor, they think, probably this bhakti movement is not for me. Those who are rich, they think it is for the poor and we are going to only make upper part. And those who are poor, they think, oh, it is for them and not for me. So even new devotees sometimes are stuck into this. The reason is, in core of their minds, they are not understanding that Krishna is not interested in any of these things. He is not interested in your huge charity. He is not interested in you being poor. He is interested in that love which will manifest at the given point of situation that you are. Okay, if you are poor, okay, you bring a small something like, you put little grains in this, you give. You give, I'm happy. I'm happy. And Krishna is happy, and that is devotional service. Devotional service means to please Krishna. Now, we have the story of Jesus. Now, one lady, she came with a small penny when Jesus was having a prayer place. And there was one big man who gave a lot of donation. And Jesus said to the lady, oh lady, worry not, for thou shalt see the Father. I'll make sure that you see the Father. And then she was very happy. And that big man, he did not even look at him. So big man said, Jesus, what about me? I gave so much. She just gave one penny. He said, what you gave is a point of your whole earning. And what she gave is a whole earning. So Krishna, what to talk of Krishna, his devotees can also understand this science. It is not always the rich or the poor. It is not always the black or the white. Once Bhakti Maharaj, he shares his realization in his book. He said that when once in the temple, it will happen always, because new devotees means neophyte will fight. So new devotees, there are very white devotees, and Maharaj was from black bodied background. So he went, and some devotees must have told something, where he felt disappointed. So went to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, you are saying, we are not black, we are not white, we are not rich, we are not poor, we are souls. Then why did devotees say like this to me? Prabhupada said, I am feeling more pain about you than those devotees. Those devotees are not mature, so they are making these statements. But you are so mature, still you are making this statement. You are still thinking you are black. They are thinking you are black. Is wrong. But you are also thinking you are black, so you are feeling bad. And that is the time Maharaj says, I realized, oh my God, the problem lies here. We can learn from Maharaj. Maharaj has written it down in his book, so we can understand that yes, we are neither black, we are neither blue, neither green, we are not white, we are not rich. All that is arranged by Maya according to our karma. So we have to remove this karma and put devotional service in front, and we will see miracles. So Krishna is saying that is why these three things which are in the backdrop of a devotee's mind, that I will attain it by tapasya. Sometimes, in fact, tapasya has a problem. After a certain period of time, we as devotees, if we have this concept, sometimes we will become rigid and hardcore and fanatic devotees also, where we will lose the charm of trying to serve a Vaishnava properly. Sometimes we have our own rules and regulations. One is already which is assigned by the Vedas, and then one we have our own path. That I'll be like this. No, I'll be like this. I still remember one devotee. It is very funny, but I still tell you, I learned from him. I personally changed my own attitude after that. He was like, we were sitting in a yatra. We were sitting in one of the classes of our spiritual master. He was giving. He was supposed to sit like this. So I very enthusiastic. I am one more devotee. We sat almost like this. And the Matajis were supposed to sit like this. They were like half up. So we sat. And Maharaj told, no, I will sit there. So what happens is the whole crowd kind of rotates and we don't know where to go, we can't go ahead and we can't go behind. So then I and 3-4 of devotees, we were totally like, surrounded by the Matajis were around us. So they kept their person and it was like safe distance. But I saw this devotee, he wanted to be a brahmachari. Future, even I was not a brahmachari at that time, I was just a student. And he was also there. So I was like, okay, wherever we are positioned now, we can't move so much because it will disturb the whole crowd. So when Maharaj was singing Jai Radha Madhav, so immediately the Matajis will sing, and naturally there is a difference between voice of Matajis and Prabhujis. There is a rational voice of men, and those who are in woman body, their voice is a bit soft. So I saw this devotee, I was hearing, and I was still doing, and then I saw this devotee, he was like, as if something is troubling him. I said, even if it is troubling you, first you should value that they are devotees. If you do that, then they feel offended. And what did the Matajis do? And then I said, okay, they felt literally bad. What is he doing like this? It is, we are not singing for him. Then they purposely removed the band and all of them sang loudly in his ears till he got out, till he left that place. But they did not do it to me. They did not do it to other devotees who were in that situation. Then I realized that we may have certain rules, even the pathways we define while going in our devotional service, but it should not be too rigid that you cannot be even in the association of devotees. So we have to know, we have to mark that line of pleasing Krishna rather than pleasing our own determinations. So here we have to understand this also in the background, the subtle point, whatever I'm trying to do. So then Krishna is also saying, na ijjaya, na cha ijjaya, not even by worship. Some people go to worship, as Prabhupada writes, there is Kanishta Adhikari. So he goes and he worships only the deities. He is not interested in devotees. At least here in Vrindavan, one thing is really appreciable is that the temple hall is such and so much kirtan is going on that even if Kanishta Adhikari comes, our devotees pull and make him Madhyama. And Madhyama, they pull him, it's very nice. In some temples, especially in our ISKCON temples, sometimes just go and you have to exit. So they just remain like this, they don't interact with devotees. So here Krishna is saying that even if there are people who worship, there are Mayavadis who worship Krishna. They chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. They in fact recommend people to chant Hare Krishna. But the problem is, their worship, they are saying, Soham Asmi, that actually I am you. You are me, but timing I am worshipping you. Because this maintains me in goodness. That maintains them in goodness. When you are in touch with sandalwood, there is sandalwood pulp, there are flowers, there is incense sticks, there is other aroma going on, and there is nice tinkling bell sound. That will keep on in goodness. One has to take bath. So even Mayavadis, they take to this process. So Krishna says, just because you have taken to that process will not guarantee you my darshan. You can only see me. That is next verse that tomorrow Prabhuji will speak. That is, he says, only by undivided devotional service can you see me. Actually, this unconditional love is so high to pay. It is really very, very tough. It is very, what to talk, because Krishna is, in one sense, we are not able to see him directly. We are through various ways, deities and devotees and holy name and Bhagavatam. What to talk, even to please one devotee nicely is so difficult. To whom we can see, to whose nature we can understand. That is why Krishna does not give his darshan directly. He says, first you please my devotees, and then you can come to the spiritual world. Because they are all our devotees. If you can't adjust with devotees here, how can you adjust there? And my dear son, that is why you are here. The fact that you cannot live with civilians, you are in the jail. So what are you going to go do? Go back to the civilians, fight back and come back. So better you please the devotees who are here. So pleasing devotees is a different science, and that is what devotional service Krishna is speaking of. Because tapasa, the Veda, the knowledge, the worship of deities does not involve devotees who are highly purifying. All those who are in the movement from last 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, 40 years, 30 years, we all know how difficult it is to please a devotee. Once Parashar Bhatta was a descendant of Sripad Ramanujacharya. Sripad Ramanujacharya made him the Acharya. He was appointed in a very young age. He was very young and he was appointed the next Acharya. So when he was appointed, he was like, he said, Guru Maharaj, how can I become? He says, no, it's my order. So, Mukam Karoti Vachalam, Pangum Langayate Girim. If a devotee gives you permission and if the Lord is happy, then even a lame man can climb mountain and a dumb can speak. So when he became the Acharya, he said, how will I deliver as you deliver? I can't make them all go back to Godhead. He said, don't worry. Tell all the people that when they will please all the devotees and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they will all go back to Godhead. So he said, but what about those who can't please? Lord may be pleased because he is very merciful. You do any nonsense and go and say sorry, Lord may forgive you. But what about devotees? There are so many variety. How can one devotee please all devotees? He said, yeah, in that case, even if a devotee pleases a group of devotees, if he can't make up with his nature of other devotees, even if he can please a group of devotees, serve them and be their servant of servant, then Lord will take notice of it and take him back to spiritual world. He said, but my dear Acharya, some people are like that, who can't even please a group of devotees. He says this devotional service is so potent that even if one pleases one devotee, even if one devotee says, Prabhu, I love you, you are very nice. Whenever I see you, I become very happy. I feel like chanting looking at you. Even if one devotee pleases one devotee, he is still the fit candidate to go back to Godhead. And then he said, Acharya, but what about those who really can't please anyone? He says the devotional service is so potent that even if he remains in the audience of devotees nearby, serving or whatever, even if he is troubling the devotees, but if he pleases a devotee, even for a moment, and for that moment that devotee feels, wow, I bless you, I give you my spiritual credits, then even he will go enter the spiritual world in that very life. And that is the power of devotional service. So Krishna here is showing, what is this dry tapasya? You think you have left your wife, children, bungalow, car. The monk who left his Ferrari? Prabhupada would have taken 100 Ferraris. Prabhupada would have used them in Krishna's service. That is the difference. Here you are proud of leaving a Ferrari, and here we are having our Guru going in Rolls Royce to preach the mission of Srila Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya. So that is the difference of a devotee's consciousness and a person in this consciousness who is very much interested in Vedas, very much interested in doing tapasya. And what is this tapasya? It is more or less balancing the 5 vayus in our body. Prana, Vayu, Apana, Udan. All these balance, that's all. And that's material. And that requires a lot of energy. It does not require removal of our misconceptions that we are not the masters of this world, we are servants of this world. Not this world, we are servants of the Lord in this world. So we all, and devotees, once we become devotees, there is no question of fight. Because, how can 2 devotees fight? Because a slave and another slave. A devotee, when he wears kanti, he becomes a servant or a slave of his master, or his spiritual master, of his acharya, of the devotees, of the Lord. So how can 2 slaves compete? They will compete. They will compete to serve better. They will compete, but to serve better. So, this science is very simple, it's so sweet. Just, Prabhupada said, just chant and dance. It's so simple. There is nothing we have to prove ourselves that, I'm a great devotee. Our Guru Maharaj used to say, either you can become great or you can become a devotee. Don't try to become great devotee. That will take you to a wrong direction. So a devotee is more interested in serving the Lord, serving the devotees and pleasing them. And pleasing devotees does not mean titillating their senses. That is another subtle point, is that sometimes devotees take to service and they think that probably making my Shiksha Guru very rich, giving a lot of donation, making him rich, making sure that he, and then they try to get into another direction. So we have to make sure that serving means serving the mission of Lord Chaitanya, serving the mission of Krishna. As Ishopnishad clearly mentions, that we and Krishna are one. First in quality, that is the qualities that we have. And second is the interest. The Lord's interest is to take every soul back to Godhead. And when the devotee also makes that interest, that what to talk of I going back to Godhead, I will pull many others to back to Godhead. Then Krishna, then we are also in the interest of Krishna. So one who tries to bring others to Krishna, he is for sure to go to Krishna, even if he does not want. Because Krishna loves him. We give this example, like there is a child and he goes away and the father has lost him and somebody brings the child back. So naturally, what to talk of giving the son getting his property back? The person who brought also gets a lot of gifts. I said, you tell me anytime I am of any of your service, please let me know. And devotional service is not something very like, when I say slave, people think, what? I have to be like slave? Our understanding of slave is like rigid. Some man, the hunter, coming and ponding and making us work like a labor. No, this slavery is a slavery of love, out of love for the Lord. Priti Purvakam. Krishna says, Priti Purvakam, Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. He says, when you worship me with love, that is the time I become your servant. And the devotee says, no, Lord, I will serve you more better. And then Krishna says, no, I. And that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam, Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam. So actually the Ananda increases when a devotee serves the Lord and the devotees, and they in turn want to serve him. And this science is, that's what Krishna is saying, people generally have different understanding. So my dear Arjuna, you better, that will be next verse where it says Bhaktya. Only by Bhaktya tu Ananya Shakya. Only by Bhakti, my dear Arjuna, otherwise it is not possible to come to me. You cannot come with your whole kingdom, it's mine anyways. What are you renouncing? If you're a great Tyagi, you may write 1008 Mahamandaleshwar, you have a big beard, you have a big jata, and you may have your lot of Facebook fans. But if you are not a fan of Krishna, all that is zero. You may have all this, no problem. You may be a great austere man, you may only drink little buttermilk and live, that's okay. But is he a devotee of Krishna? Like there was a brahmachari in Lord Chaitanya's times, he was a milk drinking brahmachari. He used to drink milk, a little bit milk, and live the whole day. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to perform his dancing pastimes in Shiva's Angan, he wanted to once take darshan. So he told Shiva, please allow me. He said, okay, you keep hiding, don't tell anybody. So he was hidingly looking at Lord Chaitanya's dance. And when he was looking at Lord Chaitanya's dance, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I am feeling somewhat uncomfortable. Is there somebody who is not supposed to be here? And then everyone was like, Shiva said, yeah, there's one brahmachari and he's he just drinks milk. He says, I am not interested in people who are just drinking milk. I am interested in people who are devotees. He says, he may be brahmachari, he may be, only drinking milk and surviving, but that's not great. What is great is to perform devotional service. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then he said, tell him to leave. But when this brahmachari was leaving, he did not blame the Lord or Srivas. What is this arrogance? Or what is this? He was grateful for whatever little he got darshan. This is another sign of a devotee. He should be grateful for what he has got. Once he starts thinking that I am qualified, then itself the game finishes. So he said, I am so grateful. In his heart he was thinking how merciful the Lord is. At least for a moment I got the darshan. Understanding this, Lord Chaitanya said, tell him to come back. He is qualified. So what is the qualification? Not the milk that he drank. There was another Brahmana in South India, which we hear in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going to the temple, he saw one devotee reading Bhagavad Gita. He doesn't know how to read. But he is just looking at a picture and crying and crying and crying. And all the pandits are chanting, Dharma Kshetra Kurukshetra. And thread, and Brahmanas, they're making sure Dakshinas are coming. So, and then they're all laughing and mocking that Brahmana who is illiterate and crying. But they don't know why he's crying. He's looking that his Lord is driving chariot. How is it possible that the Lord is driving chariot? In the sense that he was saying how Lord is so merciful, for his duty can do anything. Because he was a devotee, and those Brahmanas, were more interested in reading scriptures and proving their meters and their kantha and their speed and whatever. And look at this Chaitanya. He not only got Krishna's mercy, he got Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Lord Chaitanya said, "You are a true devotee." And that is what Krishna is saying. Who is a devotee? It's a big question. And by putting a stamp, you get a 10 rupee stamp, you just put it in a part, you can become a devotee. You can't become a devotee. Being a devotee requires inner love. One is surrender. Surrender can again bring some rationalism. I am totally surrendered. But love requires emotions. So sometimes, we may kill our emotions, but killing material emotions is okay. But we have to maintain the emotional side of our life for Krishna. What is Radharani and Gopi serving? They are loving with their emotions, with loving devotion. So that emotion is required. But that emotion should be only attached to Krishna. Then it becomes devotion service. So Hare Krishna, I am sorry. I still could not control my speed. I am just trying to... Hare Krishna. Please forgive me. We have 1 or 2 minutes of any questions. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada, he said about charity.
Can you take the microphone? So it's not. Problem is we're also on the radio and those people will just think that we're not having a private conversation.
Yes, you mentioned about that, about the charity given to the temple, given to the devotees. Most of the lectures you were talking about to the devotees, to the devotees, to the... But if you, to the devotees, everything, but the thing is, you just think of that each and every, all of us, all living entities have Krishna in the heart, Suppose somebody staying in a small little hut with 3-4 children, very poor, hungry. Isn't it nice to feed that person? You feed that person, feed the children, inside he feels so, he blesses you. Because Krishna is sitting in the heart. That is the relationship. If we talk only devotees, and none of us are perfect, Isn't it, Prabhupada? I remember one lecture, Prabhupada was giving in Delhi, thousands of people were there and talking about perfection, and then somebody put the hand up, Prabhupada, you are perfect, Prabhupada. No, I am not perfect. Because this body made of 5 elements, they are not perfect. So we make mistake, but the thing is compassion and care is very important. These are the qualities of a devotee. We must care for people. We must care, giving love. And that give you pleasure. And when you give something, you also feel pleasure, and Krishna inside you also feel happy.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. This is a very nice point where we have compassion for all souls. Krishna says, even in Vishnu mentioned, that a devotee loves everybody. Now, question is, what best you can give to that person? If I love my brother and his birthday is there, I should give him something best, right? Or should I just give him my pen? Oh, happy birthday, I have this pen. I just used it, it's finished, to take it. What is best? I should give him something that I can give. So actually when devotees give something to others, why they give Krishna consciousness a special gift? Prabhupada wrote a book called Matchless Gift. What is that matchless gift? That is Krishna consciousness. Because after that he will no more remain a poor man. In this material world he will not remain only. Because when a devotee gives prasad, or when a devotee gives something related to Krishna, he is freed from all his sinful reactions. Why did he become poor at the first place? It's because of the sinful reactions. So devotee gives something Krishna conscious. So devotee has a bigger heart than a normal charity man. And that is why Krishna is saying that word. He is saying, not that we don't give, not that somebody is lying and we say, hey, get lost. No, we give him. We have a better gift to give. So, if you just give him some food, let us say we don't give him Krishna consciousness, we have compassion, we give food. Yes. You did some punya, you will also get some reaction. You will get a sweet reaction. That is, you will get some material facilities out of material nature because you did something good. But good and bad, it is relative. As Krishna says, this word is bandhva. You may give him 5,000 rupees. Now question lies, what he does with that money is only when you make him understand what is the value of life, then he will use it for the purpose of life. Like I'll give you an example. In Mumbai, there are slums, near the airport. Have you been to Mumbai while landing? There are a lot of slums. All the Mumbai rich businessmen, they decided that we'll collect a lot of money together and we'll build apartments outside. And we will make this as a green zone, these slums. We will remove the slums and make a green zone so that our clients, when they land to India, they feel very nice. So they are right, they did good for the slum people, they gave apartments. They built apartments by their own money. What did the people of slums do? They just gave it to rent. They got some rent and they still stayed in the slums. So actually Prabhupada says, not that we are not compassionate, not that we don't do annadan, not that we don't give clothes, but we should have a perspective of Krishna consciousness. So that is highest. Now if that cannot be given, and as a mundane man, somebody would like to just give clothes, or somebody would like to just give food, it is a sign of compassion. But that sign of compassion is still lower than what a devotee gives. When a devotee stands in hot summer and cold winter and gives a Bhagavad Gita, it is millions and trillions of times more valuable than all the charity going on all over the world. Reason being, that fellow will forget this world and go back to Supreme Lord, the spiritual abode. Actually, we all have created our own worlds. He has also created his world by his own activity and karma. We are actually just pinching his balloon and removing the air of ego and getting him closer to Krishna. That does not mean that we have to just take the people of slum, watch them. No, we give them how they can take. We have to make sure that the recipient takes Krishna consciousness in the way he can, it is suitable. So we as devotees, we give the best. Prabhupada also, first he established temples, he gave Krishna consciousness, and yes, because devotees are merciful, he had food for life schemes, he got people closer to Krishna through food for life. He made sure that, okay, if there is some, devotees do charity. If it is not, it is there fire in the building, a devotee sleeps nicely, no, anyways that fire is just one of the elements, No, he goes there, he also is a part. But then, it is not something material compassion. Material compassion will lead to material result. Spiritual compassion will lead to spiritual result. So, when we are doing material thing, so we are dealing with matter, and it is dual. I mean, somebody has toothache. Actually, if you help him, you are making 500 rupees of a doctor, the doctor will lose 500. Basically, when you are stopping his toothache, you just do like this and you can remove the toothache. So you did a good job. You saved his 500, but you looted the doctor's 500. This world is dual. Nothing in this world you can say that I did everything out of compassion. In this material world, whatever you do, it is just dual. If he gets a job, I did my best, I did some bribery and got him job. Means he lost a job. So I get his piety and then his curse. What about that? So in this world is dual. So devotees generally don't entangle themselves into that, because then they will also be tossed over the will-o-wisp. They better come out and they give Krishna consciousness. They remain. One devotee dancing on the street is far more better. That much joy even the slum people don't get when they receive their food from other people. When they see some devotees, they go so happy. Who gave them happiness? You give them food, they eat, and next day they pass it off. What's that great deal? I mean to say, an ant to elephant, everybody gets his food. So why should we go outright? But nobody gets Krishna consciousness. It is only a devotee who gives. That's why after becoming devotee, it is thoroughly a new role that a devotee plays. That's why these are all subtle things that we should all know. Not that we don't give charity, like we travel in trains, we have some beggars who come. Actually, in Kartik month, I read one glory and I did a small activity. It was mentioned that in Kartik, you should offer a lamp to the Lord. If you can't, in the book written by 40% of the Maharaj, it is mentioned, at least you should feed someone, like it must be prasad. But actually I was traveling in train, I didn't have any prasad. I myself was hungry, and that was the first day of Kartik. I said, forget me, let me get some credit, It was the first day. So there was a sweeper, and I got him sick, You are also a devotee, I got some guy, I said, you give him something, I'll pay you. In the train they sell, right? I gave him, I said, you sit here, nicely you eat. Because, let me perform my also devotional services there, let me also perform it. So then we have that different perspective. We should have that Krishna conscious perspective. If we have material, actually to yield, we have tried our best. I have also seen many times when you give clothes and all, after that they forget and they are again into their sinful mode. Unless we bring them to the point somehow, if they're poor, then we can train them into singing Krishna songs, or getting them regular kind of prasad or bringing them to Janmashtami, something like that, so that they also get a touch of Krishna consciousness. That is far more higher than millions of lives of donations to them. Whatever it is, millions of days they will eat and pass to, that's all. They can do nothing more. Actually, Prabhupada says this also. I don't say what you said, but Prabhupada says what I see also said. Prabhupada. What best a devotee can do is you give Krishna consciousness. And nothing, then you give some food. It's not harmful. Because at least we have a considerate heart. We can do some kind help to people in a sense. At least that is that.
Okay, there is a whole section in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna also notes that not everyone is able to come up to that level. And so he gives them a choice of getting some knowledge, giving some charity, and so on. Because at least those things will purify them. So they'll be purified so that they can come up to the level. So it's not that we tell people don't give charity and don't get knowledge. Even we have to get knowledge. We have to do tapasya. We have to get knowledge. We have to give charity. And that's what we're doing. We're doing it in a purified existence. But normal people need to be purified before they can come back to that level. That's what the whole Varnashram system is about. So that they can come up to that level. So it's not that we look down on all these things. Because Krishna even says that if I do not perform my prescribed duties, then everyone will follow me. And what a great man will do. Everyone will follow his example. So Krishna does these things to set an example. Over and above that, of course, it's the highest is devotional service. There's no way to relate to Krishna except through devotional service. But you have to get there first.
I stuck to the verse, there was no everywhere, no. So I emphasized on that point, otherwise
I know,
we got
Can I ask a question? Can I ask last question? Thank you for the wonderful class, bro. This devotee who comes in Krishna consciousness and even spending time with devotees, owning lectures, but due to some family pressure, he has some material attachments, and for his survival, struggle for existence, he has desires, trying for material activities also, even in among devotees community. What happens to him? Like, how he elevates? Like, he'll just go on like this, or is there any chance?
Actually, if you understand Varnashram, everybody, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, anybody is in a system. That is Varnashram. We all are having our roles, two roles. One is devotee role and one is our role within the society. This role is temporary, which will vanish after some time. But that role is eternal. So one who can slowly make this role and this role one. You getting the point? A servant of the Lord is our eternal role. So when you make your family as Vaikuntha, your ego is liberated. You serve your wife, your father, your mother, your children. Not assuming that actually they are given by the Lord as gifts to you. Serve them. Like we as brahmacharis, we have to serve devotees in the temple, visitors. We have brahmacharis, we help each other, we serve. So you have to spiritualize your domain where you're active, you're physically involved. So you have to make Vaikuntha there. So when you have family, you just put an altar. If there is a lot of fights, don't put an altar. And try to slowly preach, take them to Yatra and put them in some devotees group, slowly. Just try to trick, it's okay. And you have to make them devotees. You have to electroculate them, make them active people. And slowly they will only say, oh, very good. And then they become devotees. At least your prasad will go on so. And actually, Krishna consciousness, you remember, is a science of consciousness. It is not a science of material adjustments. Krishna is not interested in how you drive your bike or how you drive your vehicle or how much you earn and how much balances you make, how much you put in your share market. He is not interested. He is interested at every point of time. Did you call him as your shelter? Did you keep your wife as your shelter? Did you keep your mother as your shelter? Your father, your bank balance as your shelter? Or did you always keep your shelter on him? What was Prabhupada? He had a factory, he had wife, children, everything. But look, when spiritual master's call came, when material situations showed their indications, who was his shelter was very clear. He did not even turn back. He just walked out. I have read in another that he asked for 2 dhoti kurtas to his godbrothers. They denied him 2 dhoti kurtas. But who was his shelter? His shelter was the Lord and devotees again. He went and there are then devotees. When he went out, he preached. So actually, who is your shelter is where you mark yourself. Somebody may be a brahmachari, but he may be sheltered with some sweet voice of some woman. He may be quietly calling, "Hello, how are you?" He is not sheltered in Krishna. But there may be some grahastha. He may be with wife, but always thinking, "My dear Lord, when will I come to you? Where did I get stuck?" So you know that story, there was one priest, Vishnu's priest, he was worshipping Lord Vishnu, and there was a prostitute off the street. She was always thinking, what a rascal I am, what bad karma did I do, that I had to get into such a life, and nobody has any value for me. Look at me. My daily wages are based on such sinful activities. When will the day come when I'll be like a priest and worshipping Vishnu? And this worshipper of Vishnu is looking down, this part, how many clients have come today? And he said, this is a symbolic story. So there's when Yamduts come. He said, "No, not to me, go to the prostitute." He said, "No, it is you, because your consciousness was there. And her consciousness was here, so Vishnu Doots have gone and taken her." So, it is not where we are. It is where we actually are. You getting the point? Our shelter. Our consciousness is stuck where? Mat chitta matagata prana. Where is my mat chitta? Where is my chitta? In Krishna? Then I enter into Krishna's abode. And while before dying, if my chitta is in material world, my bank balance, and then you will get stuck somewhere in the bank. There will be some that mouse in the bank lockers, licking the money that you have. So not you, I think in general, that's the consciousness, science of consciousness. So we are Krishna consciousness movement. We are not material management movement. So we should not calculate material.
One thing that one has to
I give a little extreme answer. There is some bad.
He has to do his prescribed duty.
That is done.
Householder. He has to do his prescribed duty. He has to look after his married, look after the wife and the children. And again, Krishna conscious, of course. But the thing, these duties have to be done because
I think so. I am getting misunderstood. I never said you are not to do your duties.
Yeah.
Even today's verse, when it was not tapasa, so I admit, other than the broad lecture which can be given, I said him how he can get out. That was the question. So what I'm not saying what he should, I'm not do I did not say you should not do your job or something. I said how you can become more Krishna conscious and put a shelter. Because the question is not how to manage that. That anybody, a person who does knows, if he is doing that kind of job, he has that intelligence level to manage his affairs. I'm not supposed to give a class to manage his affairs. That that can be done off the asana. But as a devotee who is speaking Gita, it is my duty to tell him how he can stick his consciousness there at what level I know. So I don't. Correct.
Yes.
Correct. I'm sorry if I've offended any of you. I have no. Tried my best. Please forgive me. But. Shri Prabhupada ki.
Thank you very much. Very nice.
Oh, Krishna.
One more question over. What is the insecurity?
That is true actually. Basically, he is grahastha because he is insecure. Not a grahastha who is insecure. His personal security cannot people take shelter on Krishna. It is not right. Brahmachari takes total shelter on Krishna. And this one has psychophysical nature.
I have to say
He
something.
takes shelter. That's okay. इसमें गलत नहीं है. But after हमको अंदर से clear मालूम होना चाहिए, इवॉल्व होना चाहिए कि ये हमारा final shelter नहीं है. ईश्वर निश्चय there is a mantra 40.
Because it's so much.
14 mantra, there is a mantra. Somebody should know that this world is Vinashi also.
They just got into left
Slowly.
by the children.
Slowly Varnashram will take one to that level. मतलब इतना धक्का खाएगा.
I have seen so much.
ऐसे नहीं कि ब्रह्मचर्य नहीं खाता, वो अपना धक्का लगाता है. गृहस्थ का अलग धक्का है. But वो थोड़ा हाँ ये दो कोई नहीं जो पहले लगेगा चित्त हो
It's
जाएगा.
a long ladder.
नहीं ये सब बोलते हैं हम लोग ऐसा थोड़ा टफ होता है.
गृहस्थ में
बोलते
लीजिए।
नहीं,
वो तो बोलते हो बट वो बोलने की बात है बट होल पार्ट इज देयर इज लॉट ऑफ स्ट्रगल एक्स्ट्रा स्ट्रगल इफ यू आर फॉलोइंग एज स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर इफ यू आर जेन्युइन फ्रॉम हार्ट 10.11 पढ़ लेना हम एवं ऐसा एवं हम अज्ञानजम मैं निकाल देता हूँ उसका सब अगर काम एकदम सिंसियर है ना अर्जुन बोलते तो कैलकुलेट मत करो वो कहाँ है किधर है I got one. That's true. But you don't have to worry so
Our
much.
kind of offering is not the same without us.
वो स्लीपर का एग्जांपल इसने दिया है वो इसलिए दिया है कि बहुत स्ट्रगल जाते हैं समझ रहे हो हाँ पीस कम है और यू नो एफर्ट्स बहुत लगाने पड़ते हैं बट कृष्ण is seeing all that in that struggle also if you
But
can
Krishna is not like first priority, second priority, number one, number two.
out of all the महाजन खास कर ग्रस्त तो सफर दोनों थे तो महाजन शादी ग्रस्त आदि पहुंच जाएगा ऐसा कुछ वो नहीं करते इसलिए सब गलत है लोग इसको थोड़ा सिक्योरिटी में ले लेते हैं क्या ऐसे बहुत सारे ब्रह्मचारी शादी कर लेते हैं ऐसे बहुत सारे ग्रस्त जो सब जल्दी छोड़ के संन्यास भी ले लेते हैं इट इज कॉन्शियसनेस प्रॉपर इसे बहुत लोग थे ग्रस्त जो पक्षी ठाकुर के डिजाइन होते हैं क्यों नहीं संन्यास लिए वहाँ नहीं था ना फुल टाइम सेवा नहीं करना था मिशन नहीं चलाना था तो सोना था तो ये वो करना नहीं था हिट इट सो सीनो लेटर आई एम वेरी
Because Krishna mind करता है कि थोड़ा पैसा और कमा लो।
शेल्टर ना शेल्टर ये तो कह रहा हूँ इसलिए यही तो मैं बहुत सटल माइंड बोला अगर इसको मैं एलोबरेट कर सकता था पर मेरा स्पीकर बहुत स्ट्रेट नहीं बहुत दबा रहा है
देखिए आप इससे जब बोला करती है चलो बस इसका कॉल कर लेते हैं तब रात में जब दिमाग में तो पैसे हो
नहीं ठीक भी है कोई इशू नहीं बट उसमें इतना एनर्जी मत डालोगे कि वो जमा नहीं करना और सेवा नहीं कर सकते यात्रा नहीं कर सकते
साइड टू साइड करते हैं
दोनों करते हैं उसको बैड बार्गेन देते हैं
सोलह वाला सब करके फिर अपना जो करना है
There was mantra विद्याम च 9, 10, 11 मंत्र नंबर 11 इसका पर्पल पढ़ना बेस्ट ऑफ बैड बार्गेन इसमें से कितना निकल कर अपना काम चला दिमाग चला
ये डिवोटी के पैसे बनाते हैं बट